GM, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday, the 16th of January. Let's get straight into the Bitcoin chart. And as we can see, Bitcoin closing at resistance yesterday, right on this descending trend line. The close was, to be exact, 100,500. And this is strong price action. We've seen a bit of a dip so far today. I'm in two minds here whether this is going to be it in terms of the dip. Like we're already starting to recover if we go on to a four hour time frame. You can see we're already starting to recover a bit from this dip down to 98,600. And do we now see a push through this resistance, through this descending trend line, and a run higher to prices around 102.5 to 103,000, coming up towards these highs here? I think just looking at this trend line, I think I'll probably adjust this a little bit higher just to capture those highs a little bit better. So yes, do we see that move up to around 102,500? I think it's definitely possible, based on the fact that Bitcoin has just been so strong over the last few days. Obviously, what does this mean for the path? Obviously, I was looking at Bitcoin potentially coming down and making a retest towards 92,000, potentially putting in a higher low 93,000. I still do think at some point we will see a retest of lower prices. That's not to say we have to come this far down. What we might see is some consolidation, some chop, and a move, maybe a shallower move down. It might only go as low as 97,000. It might come down to 95,000. I think that is 100% on the cards, 100% on the table for us to get that sort of move. If we bang on a Fibonacci retracement, we can see that on a shorter term time frame, a move down to around 95 would be pretty much a 50% retracement. A move down to sort of 96.5 would be our 382. So potentially we see something like this. And actually, given the strength of this move, I'm leaning towards something like that myself on Bitcoin. I think, probably something like this is more likely than a deeper pullback. But you never know what stories around the corner, what FUD or what panic or what scare is going to come in and take us lower. It can often happen. But I think all things remaining equal, Trump inauguration, with things looking really positive for now, I'm favoring probably more of a shallow pullback. Then what we might get is if we do something like this, we might just get a more of a pullback like this. This might be what we see. So let's say, for example, we were to come up here, then maybe we get our pullback to 382 or just about on the 50% going into early February, and it plays out a little bit more like this in terms of our path. This is totally possible. This is another scenario, I think. So obviously, this is why I don't like adjusting paths, because they start to get really confusing when you start to adjust them. So I'm going to basically leave this where it is or where it was. So currently we could see, where was that Fibonacci? Currently we could see something like this over the next couple of days. I don't think this is the most likely thing. I think maybe it move back down to around 95,000 and then we get a push up. And I think this is probably going to be quite aggressive. That probably takes us close towards the previous all-time highs. Let's just zoom out on that a bit. So I think we maybe do something like this when that higher low gets put in and we break back above this descending trend line, or we get a convincing break above this descending trend line and we start to break through these resistances. I don't see how we don't run back to the all-time high and then probably higher to our target that I've outlined in February. So maybe we see something like this happen and do something like that. So I'm thinking that is definitely a potential outcome, potential path for us. Obviously, this would be a little bit more conservative, kind of similar to what we were initially looking at on our daily in terms of the path we could go. So yeah, something like this. And then if I draw on another path, which is going to be a little bit more optimistic, shall we say, that would involve us sort of coming higher initially, more of a, shall we say, probably a similar pullback. Maybe we don't go as deep. Maybe all this happens a bit quicker. Obviously, we are going into early January, but I think we could see, a similar path play out just with us pushing a little bit higher first. I'm probably going to leave that one off for now because it's not really overly different. It's all going to take us to the same place. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe we come here a bit higher first, maybe not. Let's see how it plays out. For now, obviously, we're starting to pull back, but I'm gonna adjust it slightly. I'm gonna say I'm expecting probably something like this to take place, and like I say, a move down maybe into the 50%. Just looking at the timing of this, early February. Maybe we don't go that far down. Maybe we just come in here or somewhere. But yeah, I think we might see something like this sort of play out. That's gonna be my preferred path for now. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna try not to adjust that anymore. But we can see what I'm expecting over the next few days here, and yeah. We can see what I'm expecting over the next few days and weeks here for Bitcoin. So definitely expecting a move higher. And obviously, we've got the good news coming out, the Trump inauguration on Monday, crypto ball tomorrow. So it's all shaping up. It's hard to see us turning around from this point and coming down and making a deeper dip. That's what I'm trying to get across with this adjustment here. I kind of think we go a bit higher. Maybe we even chop sideways. Maybe we don't even come down that low again. Um, but yeah, I really think we're just going to be starting to trend up. Certainly, when we take out this high, which I think is going to be really the last high before we get to all-time highs. Obviously, if we might even come up and fake through that, and then start to come back down for the higher low. Yeah, let's see where we go. I mean, it would kind of make sense for something like this to play out. I think, a pump into the inauguration. Inauguration is going to be on January. Let's just move this over slightly. So yeah, a pump into the inauguration, maybe spiking higher off the excitement, some sort of pullback into the end of the month, maybe early February, and onwards and upwards from there. Okay, done. So looking at the liquidation heat map, just to kind of support the fact that I do think at some point we do come a little bit lower. We do have some liquidity sat here at going down to 98, sort of 90, 97 and a half. So potentially we do make a move down towards 98. Obviously, looking at the chart here, that would be a pullback just a little bit lower down, maybe reconnecting with our 50-day moving average on this chart. If we look at the 4 hour, you can see we'd reconnect with or get close to our 200s moving average on our 4 hour as well. So potentially, that is a move we see, but obviously in terms of this sort of greater wave, we'd still be looking at a push from there higher up to above 100,000, back above 100,000, potentially up as high as 102, 103,000. And if we just look at sort of the last couple of weeks liquidations, just to see a little bit more of a longer term outlook on the liquidity currently on Bitcoin, we can see we've got literally everything to the downside has been wiped out. So there's not really a lot below us. Obviously, this is the small amount of liquidations that we've seen on the 24-hour view. And really, the longer term liquidity is now all above us. I mean, we do have, if I go out to like a monthly view, we do have stuff down at like 70K, but I don't think we're going back there anytime soon. So, yes, I do think this supports maybe a sort of scam wick or a quick flush to the downside. Maybe that happens at some point today. Otherwise, I do think we're going higher first, and probably we're going to target this liquidity above 103,000. And obviously that lines in with the path now coming up to 100 and 103.5 on this chart. So Bitcoin looking good, really strong, really strong. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was altcoins, because we actually saw this come out today. This is President Trump here, or soon to be President Trump, talking about a US based crypto reserve with coins such as Solana and XRP involved. So this, is a little bit of a surprise. I think the market was fully expecting for it just to be a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Now all of a sudden we've got talk about a crypto reserve, and specifically US based cryptos. We know that President Trump has been meeting with the leaders of Ripple and of US based crypto exchanges, crypto projects. So, yeah, we are starting to see a bit of a tick up on Solana today. Solana firmly back above $200 and also breaking this descending trend line. So, we had talked about this being significant, and I said yesterday what I wanted to see for Solana was to really get bullish would be a break of this trend line. We'd redrawn it, and we seem to be getting today what we've wished for. So again, this is looking really strong. Whether we actually, can maintain this momentum, obviously we're coming into the point 0.5 level, so we are coming into pretty significant resistance here on Solana, and it's likely that we probably do come back a bit, maybe down to the low sort of 200s again, maybe as low as 200. But again, I'm not really expecting these markets to roll over from here. I think the momentum is really strong, and I could see Solana maybe over the next few days, along with Bitcoin, pushing on a little bit higher, maybe coming into the 618 around 228 on this one, and potentially from there we kind of see the throwback into the sort of 205 level. That has been a really key level for us. So I move up to 228, coming back to around 205, and then sort of pushing on. I think that will be a solid enough place for a higher low. And Solana, I think, runs on higher over the next couple of months. So yeah, looking really strong here. I think if you're looking to position in on Solana, maybe just be a little bit patient and wait for that dip to come along. Obviously, the other major, Ethereum, also starting to find some support back above the bottom of its sort of prior range around about 3,300, which is good to see. It's good for Solana to be sort of holding this, sort of remaining above this value area that has been drawn in. Sorry, Ethereum to stay above this value area. And of course, any more dips into this value area, I will be attacking aggressively. Obviously, I already attacked, like I said, earlier on this week when we got the flush down below 3,000, but that's looking now like a really good flush out on Ethereum. And similar to Solana, what we want to see now on Ethereum is for Ethereum to break out this descending trend line we've got on here. Let's just tighten that up slightly. Obviously, usually I'm drawing these on daily charts, so they don't always sort of come in quite as tight, but on a 4 hour, you can really make sure that you catch the wicks on them. And yeah, we've rejected so far off this 200 moving average, but I do think that Ethereum lightly sort of pushes up here. This is a really key level around 3,550, call it. We've got the line at three, just below that. Let's maybe move that up ever so slightly to around 3,550. I think on a daily, I noticed there was a daily moving average coming in around that level. Yeah, it's the 50 moving average as well, which is currently just above that level. So we can see here how significant this level is going to be when Ethereum pushes up to it. I think potentially Ethereum does this over the next few days, along with the rest of the crypto market ticking up, and then potentially you see that rejection, maybe a move back in to that 330 level, and then looking for the breakout. Or alternatively, if Ethereum starts to show some strength, maybe we do push up a little bit higher and going for that higher low a little bit later on. Let's see. Let's see. Obviously, what happens over the next few days. What we can do, we can also have a quick look at the Fibonacci retracements on here, and we can see you've got the zero point 0.5 Fibonacci coming in just above price two, just below that level I talked about. So yeah, potentially Ethereum does take another push higher and then looks to put in a higher low around with the rest along with the rest of the markets. And really, that is the theme. The theme is right now is that we are bullish until we have that pullback, and on that next pullback, that's going to be our next opportunity to really attack these markets hard. The other chart I wanted to share, which I keep on forgetting to look at on these streams, is the Bitcoin dominance chart, because our path has literally played out so well. And I just can't believe how well this has actually played out. I never expected it to play out this well. Obviously, you can say, well, you've come it didn't quite come down to 50 in the 56s in the percentage wise. It came to 56 and a half, pretty close. Obviously, these things are not always easy to completely predict, but obviously we predicted the bounce, which coincided with Bitcoin coming down and making the flush of the 90,000 level. And now we've seen Bitcoin bounce and we've seen altcoins starting to pick up. So I think over the next few weeks, I should be probably looking to do something a little bit different on these streams. Maybe doing a sort of shorter update on Bitcoin, a very quick Bitcoin update. And then we take a look at a few altcoins. It will mean that the stream is a little bit longer, potentially. But of course, we are going to cover sort of more altcoins that I'm positioned in on. And I think over the next few months of the cycle, the sort of final leg of the cycle, it makes absolute sense to have a more heavily weighted altcoin portfolio, a portfolio more heavily weighted in altcoins, obviously strong altcoins. So let's run through a few quickly now. Obviously, Pepe showing some really nice strength coming into this descending diagonal, which I had drawn on the other day, and I said what I want to see is Pepe push back above this and find acceptance back above this. So Pepe for now is looking really good. It's starting to look like these lower targets that we did mention a few weeks back are definitely going to be off the table. Barely got into its value area, the area I said I would look to attack and accumulate. So Pepe showing strength and starting to turn around exactly where you'd want to see it turn around. So yeah, really solid. And like I say on Pepe, what we really want to see is it getting back above this high at 2182 here, and really back above 2290. And from there, once it starts to clear some of these resistance levels, it's going to be looking really good on Pepe. Obviously, we got the 0.5 Fibonacci also coming in pretty close to this previous swing high. So that'll be important resistance to get over. But obviously, if we do get above that, then it's going to be looking really good. I think, yeah, just a reclaim, like I say, just a reclaim of sort of this level two puts us back in this sort of higher range, and we can start to see some really nice extension to the upside, and Pepe likely off to new all-time highs. So let's take a really quick look at a few altcoins. There's a few that I have on my watch list today. One is AI16Z. So I know that I did a video about AI agents saying I wasn't too impressed in them, but it seems to be where the mind share is. It seems to be the hot sector of the market, and I don't see the narrative going away anytime soon, even though I don't think long term these coins will be worth anything. I do think there is a trade to be had. And when we see things like this, like AI XBT doing stuff like this, literally down at 36 cents within a couple of days, it's up nearly $1, literally a 200x, then we have to be paying attention. So I do think AI 16Z could be the next one to run very, very soon. It's difficult to chart this. We don't have a huge amount of chart history here. All we can really do is look at our Fibonacci's and say what are our main levels, and also look at some horizontal levels. I mean, obviously a reclaim of around 181 would be getting above these lows, so that would be pretty significant. So we can just put a couple of horizontals on here. We also have these lows that we've kind of wicked into, which we can pick up on as well. So I think any move back down to 126 is going to be an area that I would be looking to buy. That's also around the zero point 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level as well. So I think that is a really, really nice area for us to pick up some AI 16Z. Let's just put a little bit of a sort of box on there. So any moves towards this box here, absolutely, I'll be looking to get in on. We've got Aptos here. It's come down to its daily 200 moving average. Hasn't really been able to find acceptance below. It's hanging on and it's starting to push higher. And for me, I mean, Aptos just looks like it's ready to run here. It's obviously held this descending trend line. It's come down into its 618, and I think any sort of dips back towards the 200 moving average are going to be good places to look for longs. So I'll personally be longing Aptos if it does come down here. Like I say, it's a new L1, and it's obviously coded on the Move language, as is Sui. It's a major, major lagger right now, and I just think at some point it's going to catch up. It's going to almost definitely take out its all-time highs and push on over this market. So I think it's looking like good value here. Apu, another meme coin, obviously, another cheeky frog, similar to Pepe. We sort of come down into its 618. And we're just sort of testing. We've tested this order block. We've actually come below it. We've looked like it wants to break down. It hasn't. It's sort of deviated below. So I guess you could say if this is a range, this is the deviation. Any moves back down into sort of the mid 60s, I would say, is a great place to pick up some more Apu. And yeah, I'm expecting Apu to really start to run soon. I mean, if we put on a trend line similar to what we have done on Pepe, we can see we've actually broken out of that trend line now. We've come back in for the retest. So potentially we come down and retest it one more time if the market does take a little bit of a dip over the next week. But I'm really expecting Apu probably to mark on up here. And it could be that it marks on up a little bit faster than the rest of the majors, which is why I'm happy to get into this right here. Okay. Beam as well is another one that I like. It's one of the sort of blue chips when it comes to the gaming space. So I like the fact this has come down. It's front run, it's 200-day moving average, and just looks like a great place to pick up some beam here. I think this goes a lot higher. So any sort of moves down back towards 22 are going to be, I think, great areas to buy. Bonk as well, reclaimed or held above its 200-day moving average. If we're looking at Bonk here, we can also put on a trend line, which is about to come in and test. So maybe you want to wait for the break and retest of this trend line, but Bonk is another one that I really think goes back to all-time highs very soon. You can see the trend here with meme coins. I still believe that memes outperform over this market cycle. Brett as well, a fairly sort of steep trend line been in a fairly steep downtrend, but it's held really, really major support here. It's obviously backtesting these highs from October and backtesting its 200-day moving average, starting to see a nice reaction, bit of a sort of wick down today. I really think Brett makes its way a lot higher over the next few days and weeks. And look, back to its all-time highs is nearly a 2x. I think it takes out this and then does a lot more. So these are some of the ones that I've either bought over the last day, or I'm looking to position more into. Athena as well, got a really nice entry down at its 100-day moving average. Obviously a stronger coin here. It hasn't had the same sort of sell-off that some of these meme coins have. And over the next few days, now it's basically deviated below this range, which is around about 8868. It's come back into it. It's retested it today. I really think this starts to mark up to the upside of its range around about sort of 130 over the next few days and weeks, and then makes that breakout. So any more dips into the bottom of this range, anything below zero point 0.9, I think is a really good spot to pick up some Athena. I won't go into all of these, but other ones I like for now are near as well. Back above its 200-day moving average, back just above its 618 descending trend line that looks like it's ready to pop through. So again, I'll be waiting for that breakout retest and looking to position to more highs. I was positioning in over the last couple of days on near. Pendle as well has seen a really big sell-off back into its 618 Fibonacci retracement, strong support, and I've been looking for a good reaction from Pendle from this level. And again, we can target now breaking out of these descending trend lines on these, and then obviously you've got a more of a higher risk entry here, the more safer entry, waiting for the breakout, then the retest, and then running it much higher. Popcat as well, it's just been absolutely annihilated. It's basically retraced. It's gone through all of its Fibonacci retracements from its low back in August, and it's just trading really back down at levels that it was obviously during the summer and pre the whole sort of Murad season. So I think at some point, if it can get back above 0.64.5, then it can really start to look good. And it really, for me, it has to reclaim this descending trend line. I mean, doing this as a sort of bit more of a best fit line here. It's a little bit messy, that trend line, but you can see what we're looking at. I really think Popcat is a strong meme that will definitely run hard later on this cycle. And yeah, just a huge discount, just massively beaten up. We've got S here, which essentially is the new token for Phantom. So Phantom is rebranded now as S. I think it is a completely new blockchain. So obviously not a lot of price history here, but this is another one that I'm looking to pick up on any moves back down towards 70 cents. I've started to take a position on this already around these levels, but I think and look, I think due to the hype and due to the sell-off that sort of this has seen, like obviously when it was Phantom, we were trading up around $1. I believe it's a 1-for-1 swap, so there shouldn't be too much of a change in terms of the pricing of this. And yeah, I'm targeting, like I say, a move back to 0.71 to add more. But like I say, this could just keep on going. I mean, I have added a bit on this dip today as well. So that's another one I'm accumulating right now. We got another meme that I've talked about on the channel, Turbo, back above its longer term ascending trend line. So looking like it wants to sort of hold this. If it can hold this and start to turn around, then we could be back up to all-time highs fairly soon. Like I say, these have been so beaten up. So you can see just to get back to all-time highs, you're looking at a good, what's that? That looks like around about an 80% move or so, 75% move. XAI as well. So this is more of a gaming pick. Gaming has been absolutely annihilated through all of its Fibonacci levels. So again, looking for some strength to be found here, but it's got a lot of work to do. This is really from a more of a value play, and to just give myself some gaming exposure. As with Beam, obviously Beam is the stronger chart, but if you wanted an alternative, XOI could be one as well. And Zerebro or Zerebro is another obviously AI agent narrative token. So another one that has been absolutely hammered over the last few days, down 72% from high to low, currently still down good 60%. I think this recovers with the rest of the market, and it looks like sort of a decent entry point to me after that sort of drop. So obviously there's not too much more analysis we can really do on this one, but yeah. What else to look at? Dollar, still in the uptrend until it's not. So really, we want to see a breakdown of yesterday's low to actually confirm more bearish sort of price action on the dollar. So still creeping up for now. Still not out in the woods. No reversal confirmed just yet. But I do think we are close to a high on the dollar still. So we'll have to obviously monitor the dollar, make sure it doesn't fly up too aggressively, because that could put us under some pressure in terms of our crypto bags. And the stock market starting to come into resistance trend lines on the Nasdaq, and I'm expecting we probably still or seeing the same thing on the S&P. So having a little bit of a rejection now on the Nasdaq and the S&P, and that's really to be expected. Obviously, dollar picking up, so a little bit of reversion today. Let's see what happens over the next few days, and obviously we can see, just going back to Bitcoin here, we can see Bitcoin is coming down a little bit more now. So yeah, potentially we do get that move down towards 98, 97 and a half, and look for some sort of reaction there. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Obviously a bit of a longer stream today, taking a look at some altcoins as well. So let me know in the comments if you appreciate that, if that is something you're interested in seeing more of, and I can obviously try and incorporate more altcoin analysis into the streams, or whether you just prefer sort of the high level overview of the majors, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Pepe. I'll be interested to know what you guys think. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I probably will. I had a couple of altcoin requests, which I am going to try and put out a video for over the next couple of days. I'm also going to come out with a video about Donald Trump's presidency and what this could mean for crypto. And obviously, we're starting to see some effects of some of his comments already on the space. So I think it's quite an exciting time for not just Bitcoin, but for the entire crypto market with him coming in as president. So I'd like to give a few sort of trade ideas and yeah, sort of a few one or two things that I'm looking at, ways to, I guess, ways to profit from, sort of Trump coming in and making the most of that as an opportunity. So I'll try and get that one done today, and like I say, probably after that some altcoin picks. And then over the next couple of weeks, I want to look at my portfolio, sharing with you exactly what I'm holding right now, how I'm positioning over the next few months, and also looking at where potentially the cycle top could come in, so do some longer term analysis. Maybe that's the sort of thing I'll be able to put out over the weekend. So thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will talk to you all on the next one. GM.